What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another whiskey review. I am Eric, and today heading to the Highland region of Scotland for Glen Garioch 12-year-old single malt. So I will give you my nose, taste, finish review, chat a bit about the value, my final thoughts on the score, leave you with the malt musing as always. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Glen Garioch and its 12-year-old single malt. So this is a distillery that I think for a lot of folks might not be very familiar. Perhaps it kind of flies a little bit under the radar, but according to distiller.com, so it is the most easterly distillery in all of Scotland. It was originally a tannery and a brewery before they converted it to a distillery in 1797. And so, yeah, it is, while spelled that way, it is actually pronounced Glen Garioch. So this 12-year-old single malt comes in, let's see what it says here. This comes in at 48% ABV, which is awesome. It does give you some tasting notes, which we'll avoid for now. Here on the box it says, yeah, handcrafted since 1797, non-chill filter, 12-year-old. It's distinctive Highland character from the classic marriage of bourbon and sherry notes. So this has been aged in bourbon and sherry casks. Here's a look at the bottle. Kind of a classy presentation. I really kind of like the way this looks. It does not mention anything on here about natural color, so we are going to assume that they've added some color, because if it ain't on the label, how are you supposed to know? But it does say that it's non-chill filtered, which is, in my opinion, a little bit even more important. Be happy to hear what you guys think, because, when thinking about those variables like added color or chill filtration, which one do you think is the most important to be in its natural presentation, if you had to choose? Ideally, it's both, right? We all know that. Okay, so yeah, not much else. They do, like I said, they have some tasting notes on here, which I will avoid because I'm going to taste this for you all right now and give you my tasting notes. All right, let's get into it. I've had this open for about 2 months, so it's been able to get a little bit of oxygen. For what it's worth, there's the color for you. Okay, so right away here on the nose, really deep and rich. Wow, yeah, dark fruit just dominates right away. Really impressive, wow. It's even got a slight mustiness. Almost, I wouldn't say as much as you get out of like a Springbank, but just like a little bit of a mustiness, which I really kind of like. It gives it a little character. Yeah, dark fruits for sure. Thinking the kind of like plum, raisin, there's a little bit of pear going on too. But then, those bourbon casks, as I mentioned, this is aged in, kick in a bit. So you're getting vanilla, honey, some spice, cinnamon and clove. Spice is rather muted in the background. This is definitely a rich, what's the word, confectionery, kind of like sweet dessert type. Smells just amazing though. Great nose on this. All right, let's give it a taste. Cilantro. Really thick, viscous mouth coating. Right away, it's like sweet barley sugar. Really sweet right away on the nose, or I'm sorry, on the delivery. But then right away, as it develops, you get a little bit of heather. Kind of, if you've ever had a Highland Park before, they use a kind of a heather peat, but this is more of just a sweet, almost, kind of flowery heather. So again, a sweetness. As it develops, though, like I said, right, it gets very syrupy kind of dark fruits. So I'm thinking plums, raisins again. Also, chocolate, vanilla, toffee too. Toffee, creme brulee, just creamy like creme brulee. The toffee notes really strong. Then there's like a maple, like a light molasses. Just a lot of like sweet, dark sweetness. I wouldn't go so far as to say brown sugar, so I think it's more of like a maple syrup toffee creme brulee type thing. Awesome. The finish is really long. I'm kind of left with like a dark coffee, dark chocolate type flavor. There's also some fruitiness, raisins, apricot, plum, and a little bit of an oak and nuttiness kind of right at the tail end. Give it another drink. Yeah. Wow. It's just really full flavor. I mean, that 48% is already a great sign. You know, you just don't find 12-year-old single malts at 48%. I mean, you're lucky to find them at 46% these days, but 48%, that's awesome. Yeah, so again, getting back onto that finish, there it is. It's like a hint of that oak cask at the end. Also getting a dark caramel and nuttiness right at the end. So it's a long finish. It's a really pretty complex finish. Just great. This is really impressive. I'm gonna put a little water on this. This is at 48%. I think it might actually help it open up a little bit more for us. Decent amount on here. See the oils come right to the top. Not really, haven't got any Scotch mist yet. I'm sure we'll see a little as this is non-chill filtered. Wow. So now that with the addition of water, the nose brightens up. As before I said it was kind of like a dark, musty richness. This is really bringing out the brightness of the fruit. So definitely getting a more sweet, bright fruit, even like a tart, little bit of a green apple almost. Vanilla is still there, honey still there. That muted spice I mentioned on the nose earlier is sort of gone. Let's give it a taste. Wow. Wow. It's still just so viscous and mouth coating. Sweetness is tamed down a little bit with water. And now the kind of chocolate caramel toffee note is really, really exerting itself on the taste, on the palate here. I think water actually has done this a little bit even better, and I was super impressed with this neat. As for the finish with water, yeah, it shortens up a little bit, I feel like. Still though, vanilla, caramel. The raisin is still there a bit. Pear is still hanging on a little bit more now with water in the finish. Wow, this is great stuff. Great, great stuff. Here's another look at the bottle of Glen Garioch 12. So, value-wise, a bottle of this will run you between 50 to 60 bucks in the US, maybe even a little bit cheaper. I think it's worth it. You know, to give you my final thoughts, if you really didn't know it, you would think this might be a 15 or an even 18-year-old Scotch if you drank this blind. It's just so intense, sweet, creamy, just delicious. It tastes like an older Scotch than it is. And so for the price, wow, super impressive. This is one of the most impressive single malts at 12 years old that I think I've ever had. This would be almost a perfect pour for after a meal and just relaxing, but honestly would also pretty much be good anytime. Great, great stuff. I would love to try some of the older Glen Gariochs, to be honest with you, because if this is what they're putting in their bottle at 12, I can't imagine what would be in store with anything older than this. So my final score on the Glen Garioch 12 is going to be a straight 4 out of 5, which is I highly recommend buying a bottle. I was tempted to go a little bit higher, but you know, as it being a 12-year, I think for the price and the value, this is definitely a 4. You know, it may even get up to a 4.5, depending what day it is, but we'll stick with 4 out of 5 for now. All right, y'all. Thanks for coming back to Rabbit and Red Reviews for another whiskey review. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it helps inform your next single malt or whiskey purchase that you make. And as always, I'm going to kick you over to your malt musing. Sláinte, y'all. Catch you next time.